Stop messing about. Hayden. Run.
Young people today don't get a chance to see big wheels and cogs and pulleys. All they have is a little black box and everything happens in there and they can't see it. It's a different world to them. Well, we were brought up that way. The name is Donald Stott. I'm a volunteer in the printing gallery and have been since the year 2000. They've just discovered that you can do, letterpress will give you a quality that you don't get on a computer. It's a relief process, it's printing from a raised surface, like a rubber stamp. That is letterpress.
Another pattern like this, going back quite a lot of years, we had a warfare like the one in the middle, which we used to print posters on. None of them we bought new, they were all set down because they were too expensive to buy new. But the Arab that we had, we used to print a lot of spectacle polishing cloths, and you couldn't do them on an automatic machine, so they had to be done on one of these. Going back a long time, we used to print cinema programmes. There aren't very many cinemas these days.
Yes, can you go back to 1440? It was invented by a German called Johann Gutenberg in Mainz in Germany. And over many years he designed punches to make mattresses, to cast type. Then he built his own machine from a wine press, a wooden wine press. And he was doing quite a bit of printing for the church, for the Roman Catholic Church, printing papal indulgences, which made money, because when you went to Rome, you took an indulgence with you, and you didn't have to have them written out by a scribe. That's where it started. Then it developed into the Low Countries, Belgium, etc. It came to Britain. A chap called William Caxton set up a press in London, and that's the way the British one started.
No, you want to be second in basketball?
Yeah.
No. I think Ronald thought he was taking one.
No, I left it here.
No, I haven't.
No,
Last week.
I left it with you, so that that looks familiar. Next to the case layout, the yellow case layout.
I left school at 14 and from a secondary modern school, and I obtained an apprenticeship as a compositor, which was roughly 7 years of training, which mandatorily we had to go to night school 3 nights a week to do our technical training, besides working a full shift during the day. And then, for some strange reason, apprenticeships became unfashionable and we got rid of them. Well, when I started my apprenticeship, a firm in Halifax, they still had gas lighting, no electricity, and the power for the machinery was by belting shafts from the mill next door. They were so quite old, yeah. And because it's during the war, the foreman there was 80 years of age, and I thought him positively ancient. Yes. When I came into the industry, it was virtually what it is here now. Letterpress printing, there was some litho printing, some gravure printing, but mainly letterpress printing. Now letterpress is gone, litho is going, and we're now into the digital age. In the 60s, technology took hold, and the invention of the computer, the fact that people could do their own printing on a laser printer or what have you, that saw the death knell of letterpress. With computers, you can bend, type, you do also. You can't letterpress. You're restricted to what you've got, and that means it affects the design as well. You on a computer, you set it saying 10 point, and it's just tight. You say, well, put it down to 80% width. It goes in. Here you can't. You've got one fixed width, and that's it. It is possible to do some beautiful design from one typeface of one size. A good test for a designer to say, right, oh, there's a case of type. It's say 12-point Baskerville. Right, I want you to do a cover for whatever it might be. What, just in 12 points? Yes. What do you make of it? See how they can design. Left to right, upside down. Dead easy. Now all the characters are in their own little boxes. And when you start as an apprentice, it's the first thing you learn. It's called the lay of the case. That's a big box, isn't it? Because E is the most used character in the English language, so they put a big box for it. Now is the time for all men to come to the aid of the... Get most of the letters of the alphabet in that one. We also have capitals and small capitals. From Victorian times onwards, in Bradford, printing, I think, was number 3 industry in employment terms. You had textiles, engineering and printing. And Bradford is quite a big printing centre. Leeds and Bradford together, a massive printing centre. Mail order catalogues, magazines, you name it.
The folio are in Roman and the headings in Italic. No, but if you want to do them all in Italic or all Roman.
What I suggest we do, that's what we need to do.
Yeah,
Big one. Well, we do this in small caps, 10 points.
Should be okay. I'll take it upstairs and get approval from upstairs, make sure the dates are correct, the times. Yeah, the machine was built in Halifax, I say about 1890 or thereabouts. It still works perfectly. A spot of oil every now and again, and that's all it needs.
Setting that about an hour to set that, printing it, printer up 500 to 700 an hour printing on that little hand press. Yeah. On the Heidelberg we do 2,000 an hour. Yeah. Letterpress has changed, it's gone literally, commercially, yes. In the modern world it can be used for, let's say, small business cards, etc., but it's not really used these days. It's gone by the board. It's mainly a hobby now. It's interesting. As a hobby, very interesting, and they can produce something. Like, if you've got a computer, you can produce things, albeit the different standards. But I do know from looking at the internet that it's going great guns in America, very much so.
Everything in its place and a place for everything. You've got to know where they are so you can get them. Going over there to the Times Roman case now to put this type of work. So all type came from a type founder, were put into the cases, set by hand, printed, washed off and returned to the case. So therefore half the time was spent putting it back so it could be used again. See, there's only 26 letters in the alphabet, but there's an awful lot more in the printer's alphabet. We've only got to look at the case to see how many partitions there is in a case to find out how many different characters there are. And then you've got the sorts case behind you with a lot more in. And sat navs weren't invented, so therefore you had to know your way around to where things were.
The question of volunteers for the future, I do not know, and we raise this every time we see the management. Could be people who have a little time on their hands, who think it could be interesting. But you've got to have someone then with the knowledge to teach them.
Well, there's nothing there, so we have to put it by hand.
Well, the problems we see it here, there's no one training with us for the job. We don't know anyone who wants to do it, and we can see being a massive void when the department will be here will just be a static collection with nothing out there.